Hey, good morning YouTube. Here's Heiko. Today I'm going to be working on some front porch project. We bought a house 5 years ago, and we are not at the liberty of spending money on everything that we don't like about this house. So we have to pick our battles and improve small things at a time. And today is the time. The time has come that I will tear down our front porch, at least partially, not partly, and make it so that it's more how I like it and not how the previous owner installed it here. Let me turn the camera around. I'll show you what I am planning, and then later I will show you the finished product. I will not do a video where I film myself making this or doing this, and then you guys are going to be ranting, oh, this is not right, and this is a code violation, and this is that, and here and there. So I'm just going to show you the before and after and my reasoning behind it, and maybe someone finds this entertaining or informative and takes it as inspiration for their own little home improvement projects. So let me turn it around. So here's the front of our house. It's built kind of on a slope. Here on the side is a driveway. So the living space is elevated above the driveway. And then we have this ugly front porch here. This extends out like a pier almost, and then the stairs go down. And what always bothered me about this the most, besides looking ratty and the boards are rotting away and it's still pretty solid, but was the fact that it extends beyond the roof line. So every time it snows here, you have snow on your porch and on your stairs, and that's the section that looks the most ratty because the paint peels off. You can almost tell where the roof line is. So right there. And I've always wondered why they extended it out so far, because it's really unnecessary. I mean, I understand the angle. They angled it like not 45, it's a 30-degree angle, so they can line it up with a driveway here. I understand that part. What I'm planning on doing is I'm not redoing the front porch entirely, but I'm going to shorten it, and then the stairs are going to start roughly here and go down, and then I'm going to have some nice pavers over to the driveway, make it look a little nicer and neater. And then of course I'm going to build a new handrail, because this is so temporary looking. This looks like a construction zone where they just slapped a handrail together to comply with OSHA requirements. And then now you have to imagine this house is 40 years old, so this thing has been around here. I don't know if this has always been this way, or they put it in after the fact because they didn't like it how it was before. But from what I can see, the footings that were poured and all the hardware looks old, and all the wood beams, those are 4x8s, they look old. So I'm assuming that this has been here around for 40 years. And I can't imagine, how this even lasted that long. But now it's been long enough, 5 years. We're going to tear this down, or I will tear this down. And actually, the section that's right here at our front door, I can't even see what I'm doing. This section is going to stay. And then right where I took this board off is going to be the transition from old to new. And yesterday I put a new post in here. Sorry for the lighting, it's terrible, I know. A deep footing, 2.5 feet deep. I used one of those CBS 44 Simpson strong tie, what is that called? A post bracket, whatever. So it looks like an H, goes down into the concrete. And I pretty much just hung the new post off of the existing 4x8. So I snugged it up against it, made sure it's straight and level and plumb, and then poured the concrete around it. And now I'm able to lop off the 4x8 right here and the other 4x8 is going to come off right over there, and then use some header board, and then build stairs down. 4 stringers this time. The old one only has 3. I want to make it as sturdy and as rock solid as I can. So here 3 stringers. That's actually pretty good. It's still really considerably stable. It's not bouncy at all. And the forward edge of the stairs, just like they did, they used pier blocks. I will also use pier blocks, but I'm not going to use the pier blocks that have the little pressure treated piece of 2x6 on top. I will use the pier blocks that have the groove and can accept a 4x4. Yeah, so the back end of the stairs, the upper end, is supported nicely by that post and the existing structure back there, which is pretty solid. I think this is a 4x12. That big one back there, it's a 4x12. So the section in front of the door is pretty solid. There's no bounce, there's no flex, there's nothing. And I'll try to make the stairs just as solid and stable. The handrail as well, I will try to tie the new handrail into the structure down here, there and there. And then I will show you the end result. I've wanted to build everything out of redwood, and then I looked at the building material prices at my local lumber yard and at my local Home Depot, and I almost tipped over. So this is not going to be redwood. This is going to be Doug fir mostly. There are a couple redwood parts, like the stair stringers. I couldn't get those in any other material. I didn't want to make them myself because I'm not experienced enough. Yeah, so that's where we're starting. Today's demolition. I will take a little video after demolition, after this is all gone. I'll try to take it apart as gently as I can, because you know, those boards, they're not pretty, but maybe I can use them in the backyard. So I'm going to try to take them apart, just cut the nails and keep the boards. This here is even pressure treated. I can tell this is pressure treated. That's not my favorite. I don't like pressure treated material for anything that you touch or you know. This fence here is all redwood. Yeah. Anyways, all right. I'll take you along. Take care. All right, so here's the second installment. Let me back up a little bit. So this catwalk, this pier coming out here were the old stairs, that's been removed. As I mentioned previously, yesterday I already poured a footing with a 4x4 supporting this corner. This has been cut at a 45. Pretty much this board here has been added. Here it's cut at a 30 degree, and then I used headlock 6-inch screws to bolt this one into this joist. And then here in the middle, this joist is connected to this with just a HU48 joist hanger. So these are all 4x8, 4x8, 4x8. And this is I want to say a 4x12, if I'm not completely mistaken. And now I'm in the process of putting a board, 2 boards actually. It's a 2x4 and a 2x10 here in the front, so that I have enough solid material to hang the stairs off of. With those stair stringer bend brackets, you have to bend them in shape, and then they get mounted, and they cannot be mounted lower than 4 inches from the bottom of the edge here. So I just marked where my stair stringer, the top of my stair stringer is supposed to be, right there. So I'm plenty, I think this is, so 2x10, 2x4, so this is 3.5 plus 9.5 is 13, and we're roughly in the middle. So I'm definitely having enough space here. And yeah, this is all bolted together to this 4x4. So the 4x4 is pretty solidly attached to the 4x12 behind it. Here it's a joist hanger, and here I put a heavy duty bracket in the corner, cut it at a 45, and it's sitting on a 4x4 with a strap here. So I'm assuming, and then this board also makes a connection between the corner and this post. So that's pretty good. So that, I think that turned out pretty well. And now I'm just gonna have to come up with my stair stringer construction here. I will use 4 stringers, 1 on each side, and then 2 that run kind of parallel with a 4x4 in the middle. That the middle, that's where you walk the most, is going to be the stiffest pretty much. And this line here I drew because here's going to be something else mounted to it. It's going to be a 4x4 for the railing, and here also 4x4 for the railing. And for those I'm going to use 8-inch long screws. They're going to go through the post or through the 4x4, through this, into this. And here it's also 4x4 through this board into this corner. And then I hope it's all going to be stable enough. We'll see. Well, we shall see. So yeah, that's the progress. The old stairs are still sitting here as a monument in the middle of the front yard. But once I have stairs here, I'm going to tear this all down. Yeah, so it's coming along. It's coming along. Took me a little while to cut those 4x8s at a 45 and there at a 30 degree. My miter saw doesn't go that far, so I can't cut that type of angle. I didn't want to use the table saw in the garage, so I just used the hand saw. It's not the tightest fit. The board was also not 100% straight, but since they are sharing the 4x4 corner, and this is not a foundation for anything, this is just holding the deck up, so I think we're plenty good. This is almost 2 cubic feet of concrete down there under this one footing here. So I think this corner is going to be plenty strong enough. And the stairs I will probably build as one unit before I attach them. I want them solid, straight, with blocking in between. And we'll see. We shall see. All right, guys, later. Here's the next milestone. I've put the stair stringers together with some blocking in between. You can see the hangers that I'm going to be using. Up there I already have a piece of 4x4 screwed in between. And then here at the bottom, since I'm going to be using those precast concrete pier blocks, this one is just a temporary. There's going to be a piece that gets cut to length once I actually have this concrete block in place. And there's going to be another 2x6 running here in front, connecting all 4 ends, and then it sticks out at the side, and there's going to be my wife and a dog. So there's going to be a 4x4 post and there as well, right in the corner of that stringer and that 2x6. So that's the next milestone here. This is how it looks so far. Yeah. All right, YouTube. Last installment, potentially the last installment. So the stairs are all together, more or less. I'm still debating whether or not I want to close this up with a riser. I would have to find a 1x4 redwood to make it all match. The posts for the handrail here on the side, they go right into those pier blocks. The pier blocks sit on a bag of mixed concrete, so they are not going to go anywhere. Same story over here. The handrail connects to stair stringer into this board here in the front and go into the pier block. And then in the middle, there's also a pier block. You can't see it. Also with a piece of 4x4 screwed, bolted down. You see all those structural screws that I used to tie it all together. Here in the middle, also a piece of 4x4 that's also bolted into the header board, or the, is it really a header board? No, it's not. It's a, yeah, the rim joist. I don't know exactly, but you remember in the previous section that I used a 4x4, a 2x4 and a 2x10 below it to bring the bottom edge down far enough so that those stair stringer hangers are installed in accordance to installation instructions. And then the handrail posts up there, structural screws. Those are 8-inch long headlock screws. There are 3 in each post. And then from the side, from the stringer side, there are also structural screws going right into the post. There you can see one head, and there are 3 of those black ones. The post here in the back actually sits on top of a 4x8, and then I put this piece of 2x4 on the side to give it some rigidity. And I also, it's still a little ugly, I might have to replace this piece here, but I used one of those after the fact post brackets, and this is just as solid as all the other ones. I mean, seriously, that's how you throw your phone. That's how you throw your phone into the dirt. So it's all solid. These boards I installed with pocket head screws, and then from the rear I'm gonna put pickets just like here. And of course there's going to be another 2x4 bottom rail there as well, and there as well. But yeah, so far at least it's usable. And then here on the way to the stairs, you can tell this step is way too high. Pretty much the bottom of this redwood board is where the pavers are going to end. So we will use 3-inch pavers that go on top of here. And then with 3-inch pavers, we're at the perfect code compliant step height. And then, yeah, this NCMI driveway. This used to be all just deck, and stairs were right here in the front. I like it much better. It's much more open now. And then my wife can decorate it with some flower pots around it. And then we call it good. For now, some gravel that we don't track all the dust and dirt into the house. Yeah, sorry for throwing you guys. This is my little Mother's Day project. So far, I'm pretty happy how it turned out, especially the rigidity of it. There's absolutely no flex whatsoever. That's what I wanted. I want to have this last. And if I go over here, maybe you guys can see that now the stairs are almost completely under the roof line. Now we're pretty much done. I mean, there's still a couple of things that I want to do. Sand the handrails, the front edges, they need to be rounded off. This whole thing needs to be sealed in some shape or form. I haven't made up my mind yet if we want to stain this or if we're just going to put a clear sealer on it, like Thompson deck seal or something. If you have any good suggestions, stuff that really lasts and protects the wood, I would definitely listen to you guys if you want to put a comment down below. Then I had to kind of build this paved section here, this little porch, patio, whatever you want to call it. I like to use pavers as much as possible. It's more homeowner friendly. You can do it without having a concrete mixer. So if you would have wanted to pour this as a concrete slab, of course, build your forms around it and then get a concrete mixer and do it. Pavers are already, it's a solid product. It's available anywhere, and with a little bit of some prep work, you can get a pretty decent result. I'm not saying this is by any means the quality that a proper guy that works in this industry, has a trade. They do driveways all day long or walkways all day long. This might look better. Theirs might look better than mine, but this is all homeowner quality here. All the little pieces that I had to cut, we as you can see, we did a border around it, and then the center field is actually a different color of paver. What I'm using is polymeric sand to fill the gaps in between the pavers, and that stuff's supposed to solidify everything. It still need to be washed off, but I'm just taking my time. I'm sweeping it back and forth to really fill in all the gaps, and then eventually I'm going to get the garden hose out and wash it all off. I actually used pressure treated 2x4s on the edges here. This riser board that you can see, which I primarily installed there to tie the 4 stair stringers really nicely together. Below that is also a 2x4, so pretty much the 2x4 runs all down below there to protect the understructure of this from all the sand. I didn't want the sand or the DG. We used decomposed granite as a understructure for the pavers. I didn't want that to all migrate under the stairs. Did the same here. You can see it. I literally, as if I was pouring a concrete slab, I built a frame around it. Ends right there, and then I picked it right up there, and it runs over to all this old retaining wall here. It's tipping over. It's 40 years old, but we don't have the funding to really tear everything out, so I can only really do small improvements in this little sitting area. My wife wants one of those Italian style cast aluminum patio sets. It's like 2 chairs and a tiny little table, so we can sit here if we want to. We'll see if we actually will do that, but at least as a decoration piece, looks hopefully pretty nice. And then the stairs, if someone is a professional carpenter, could probably find a couple complaints about this. The step height is code compliant, so there is not one step that's higher than the other, not even the one coming from my pavers. So this is all proper. The overhang here of the stair, what is this called? The step is all the same, every step. And then we have those 2 little lights there. I haven't mounted them yet. They're just sitting there. I might hang them up here, might leave them down there to light up the bottom stair or the bottom step. I'm pretty happy how it turns out. Here in the front, the original front porch kind of went really far, and then the last step was a poured concrete piece that I jackhammered out of there, and of course there was a huge missing chunk of the asphalt. This is blacktop patch from Home Depot as well, which I used a 2x4 and a dead blow hammer to compact it into this gap between the pavers. By the way, this, I don't know if you can see it, it has a little bit of a slope to it. That's intentional. First of all, I want rainwater to run away from the house, not towards the house. And then also having the proper step height there, and then matching it up with the driveway. So I had to slope this whole thing a little bit. This row of pavers is set in concrete, lots of concrete. So this row here will never move, I hope at least. And then the gap between the old asphalt and the last row of pavers filled up with that blacktop patch. Yeah, and everything held together by 2x4s. When I set a 2x4 on edge like this, I usually use 1/2 inch, maybe it is 3/8 rebar. Here you see the end of it. I drill a hole into the 2x4 right through. Usually I use like 3-foot sections of rebar that I also bought at my favorite home improvement store, and then just hammer them into the ground. In this section here, I think there are 3 or 4. Same over here. and then I stretched it out and actually bolted against the post over there, so strong connection. And then the piece under here and this piece there are just bolted against the structure. So it's a pretty solid frame around it, so the paver should stay in place for a long time. If you don't have a kind of a rail holding it all together, the pavers, they will naturally, drift apart. There are different methods. A lot of companies, they would set the outer rows in concrete, but I don't have a concrete mixer. I would have had to mix that in my bucket, and it's just more work. And 2x4s, they work just fine. And once they are rotten away in like 15 years, then I buy another 2x4, clean up the edge and put a new one there. It's really, nothing lasts forever. And in 15 years, I need some new projects, so then I will work on this front porch here again. So yeah, that's how it turned out. Why is my flag not flying? A little windy today. Little bit of some washing to do here with a garden hose. And my wife has to do some landscape cleanup with her flowers here. Over there as well, we have a lot of leftover dirt. That's just, I've already removed lots of the debris that I created. But yeah, I hope this will be some inspiration for some of you guys to just, look at the home improvement store nearby and see what materials they have and what you can do without hiring a professional. Of course, that's always so convenient, but I can tell you some of those professionals, they don't produce that great of a product either, and you spend a lot of money on it, and maybe you can save some of that money and just do it yourself. All right, guys, hang in there, stay safe and healthy. Greetings, and if you like it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.